Rangers lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 in the regular season finale, but more importantly, we now officially know who the Rangers will be playing in the first round, and it is the New Jersey Devils. And this was, basically who we thought all along. It really was close. It really was almost the Carolina Hurricanes, which I think would have been the better matchup. Now, look, in all likelihood, you probably have to go through both the Devils and the Hurricanes. I don't love this matchup. I've made that very clear. With New Jersey is going to be tough. If you're a non-Ranger Devil fan, or even if you are a Ranger Devil fan, but a hockey fan, it's going to be an entertaining series. The Hudson River Rivalry is renewed, and this is the first time that these teams have met since in the playoffs since 2012. And so the only player that's really still left that was involved in that playoffs from either team would be Chris Kreider. And for him, that was his debut. He hadn't even played in the regular season to that point. So totally new cast, new era. But I look at it, and this has been a magical season for the New Jersey Devils. It really has been, and this isn't really a one-for-one comparison, but because 2012, the Rangers won. No, they came in second as far as the President's Trophy, but they had an amazing season, and it was a magical year. All this was pretty unexpected. Sure, the Rangers were seen as a playoff team, but they were really good, and it was kind of an underdog Devils club that took the Rangers out in the Eastern Conference Final. And again, it's a lot different, but just in terms of simply put, that was a special year for the Rangers, and the Devils, ended it for them. Now here, this has been a very special season for the Devils. Not to say that it hasn't been for the Rangers. The Rangers finished, not that far behind New Jersey. And if the head-to-head matchups had gone differently, the Rangers could have finished ahead of them. But it'll be very satisfying, of course, for either team to knock the other one out. For New Jersey, it really has been the perfect season. Sure, they did just fall short of winning the division, but I don't think they mind playing the Rangers. I think that they welcome this matchup, and we'll see early what happens. I mean, look, I went into last year versus Pittsburgh. I felt good about that matchup, and that took twists and turns. I mean, really, the Rangers could have very easily lost that series, so you just don't know. And simply put, the Rangers hopefully can split the first two. We don't know yet whether it's starting on Monday or Tuesday. The schedule has not come out to this point, but we do know that it's going to be the Devils, and the Rangers Devils winner will face the winner of Carolina Hurricanes, New York Islanders. So, we'll see what happens. I would have preferred Carolina, but look, maybe we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Maybe the Rangers can catch the Devils, not catch them, but they're inexperienced. This will be their first playoff. This will be the core's first time in the playoffs. Obviously, when you have players like Andre Palat who are totally battle tested, and there's some other ones as well in that lineup that have been there. But I think that's overrated, because I think last year's Rangers, while not exactly the same, are similar to this year's Devils. So, and everyone said, oh, Penguins got the experience, Rangers don't. We saw that played out. I know the Rangers won't be taking the Devils lightly. How could you? It's the playoffs, it's a rivalry, everything like that. But I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I know that there's a lot of confident Ranger fans out there, and of course I could see the Rangers winning the series. Definitely. That'd be great. But I do think it'll be difficult. You got to hope that Igor Shesterkin is Igor. That's going to be key. It took him a while in that Pittsburgh series to get going, and then he did, and was a lot better throughout the rest of the playoffs. But you need him sharp. And the good thing is the Rangers are healthy. They come out of this game healthy. For some reason, they decided to scratch Ben Harper. I would have just sat someone, whether it be Lindgren or Fox or some, whoever it might be, Kane. But they decided to go with the regular lineup. And, let's, I guess, transition into this game. We're not going to talk much about it. It actually was a crazy game. I did not care if they won or lost. And the wild thing is that Philip Hedl had a disallowed goal at 1.2 seconds left in the game. So happy it meant nothing. They said that he kicked it in. He might have. He might have. There was also another disallowed goal earlier where the Rangers were ruled offside. But this was, kind of, again, the game itself was kind of crazy to finish. But again, did not care whether they won or lost. Kind of reminded me last year of how I felt in that last Capital game. Although I think that game might have meant something to Washington seeding-wise. I can't quite remember. But yeah, Rangers, they lose it 3-2. Yaroslav Halak was in net. And I believe last year we had saw Georgiev in the last game as well. So that wasn't a surprise. That was the one thing, and that made sense that Shesterkin didn't play. Halak was good for a while, but then he did, the third period, it kind of got away from him in the third. But, again, this game meant nothing to either team. The only thing it might have meant would be the Rangers versus like Western Conference teams in the Stanley Cup final. Because the Rangers, even if they won this game, let's say in regulation, they were not going to catch Toronto, right? So we knew it didn't mean anything for the division. We knew it didn't mean anything for any of the Eastern Conference opponents, and the only thing it would have meant for was the odd chance that A, the Rangers make the Stanley Cup final, and B, it's the specific teams that were near them. So it meant nothing at all. And it was kind of played that way, and I'm just happy they didn't come away with injuries, because I remember last year Ryan Lindgren got hurt. So let's get into it really, really quickly. Not going to go too in-depth here. There weren't many penalties. The one penalty the Rangers did take was Nico Mikkola. Took a holding penalty at 13:55. The Rangers killed it off in the first. A very low event first couple of periods where the shots were 12-12 after 2. So that goes to show you right there. And in a game between the Rangers and the Leafs, it would normally be a lot more than that. The Rangers do get on the board in the second period. It's a goal by Kaapo Kakko. Scores his 18th goal of the season, assisted by Trocheck. Really nice pass by Trocheck. Nice move by Kakko. And so the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. And so Kakko does reach the 40-point mark, which is a nice milestone. Mika fell short, getting to the 40 goal mark. He was just totally unselfish so many times. I feel like, there was opportunities for it. It didn't happen. I think that was probably the one that I was looking at that fell short. But Kakko, he does get the 40-point mark. It was a pretty good year for Kakko, I felt. Stayed healthy, too, which we did not see last year. So, again, he makes it 1-0. And in the second, there was no penalties. The Rangers take a 1-0 lead going in the third. And in the third, the Leafs get going a bit. And it's a bad goal by Halak, who had played really well up to that point. Tim Liljegren scores his 6th goal of the season from Kampf and McCabe at 3:09 of the third, and so it's tied up at 1. Then the Rangers thought they took a 2-1 lead on a really nice goal by Braden Schneider, but they were in fact offside. I believe it was Trocheck that was just barely offside. Eventually, the Rangers get a power play at 6:13. Lafreniere actually drew 2 penalties in the third. Lafreniere looked had some pretty good jump, and the kids are looking pretty good. William Nylander trips Lafreniere, and the Rangers score on the power play. It's Artemi Panarin, who is playing pretty well heading into the playoffs, which that's going to be key. Panarin in the playoffs is going to be really, really important. He was bad last year in the playoffs, flat out bad. If you can get a good Artemi Panarin, that goes a long, long way. Scored his 29th goal of the season, so he also fell short of getting that round number 30. Although it was kind of a late push for Panarin. I never thought he would get there. And Panarin scored a lot of power play goals recently, and that's what he does here. It's a goal from Panarin. Fox gets a 60th assist, and then Zibanejad gets the other assist. The Rangers take a 2-1 lead, but soon thereafter, it's a goal by William Nylander, who he does reach 40. He scores his 40th goal of the season, assisted by Ryan O'Reilly, and just like that, it's 2-2. And then Toronto actually takes the lead. It is the trade deadline acquisition, Noel Acciari, scoring his 14th goal of the season, unassisted. And just like that, the Maple Leafs have a 3-2 lead. Lafreniere does draw a penalty at 17-12. Luke Schenn trips in. The Rangers have chances, and they did pull the goalie. And, of course, their best chance was at the very end, where it appeared as if the Rangers tied it up. It appeared as if they had scored past the Toronto goalie, Joseph Woll. But upon review, they said he kicked it in. And I honestly didn't mind. For me, I just wanted that game to end. We saw Lindgren block a shot in overtime. What was it, last game? Right, I think it was last game. So, totally fine with that game ending. Let all that bad luck as far as calls and shit like that, let it happen here when it didn't mean anything. So, the Rangers lose at 3-2. And their final record on the season looks like this: 47-22-13. So, what stands out to me there is, they didn't lose many games in regulation, and this game is one of them, and it's kind of a random one. So that's pretty impressive. A lot of games went to overtime. More than I feel like they had. I mean, certainly more than it did last year. So the Rangers, in terms of regulation wins, weren't quite as good as, it's different, I guess. Last year, more regulation wins, probably as many regulation losses. This year, there was a lot closer. Ranger games were a lot closer, but the goal differential was still good, plus 58. They really they were a better road team this year, although it got better at home as the season kind of wind down. So yeah, here we are, Rangers Devils. It is gonna be crazy, and again, that rivalry is gonna be renewed. It's fallen off. That rivalry, the Devils have not been good for a while. The Rangers had a period where they weren't very good. The Devils' only playoff appearance was in 2018, where they lost, I believe, in 5 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, this is a team that really hasn't had a whole lot of playoff action. The last significant time was in 2012. Whereas for the Rangers, of course, even beyond that, tons of playoff time and then a little hiatus. And then last year, they were in it. So, yeah, bragging rights are on the line and a whole lot more. But I don't love the matchup. But this is a very good Ranger team. This is a Ranger team that is arguably better than last year's team. The concern for me is that the competition's a lot stiffer, across all of the Eastern Conference. And it was good last year, too. It really was. Pittsburgh, that was still, look, you still got to respect what Pittsburgh could bring to the table. Carolina was really good. Sure, maybe not the most talented, but a really good team. And then Tampa's Tampa. But now it's even better, I feel like. I mean, sure, Carolina, I'll say they've taken a step down. Devils, to me, is an upgrade over Pittsburgh. And then Boston is just this crazy team. Plus, you still got Toronto and Tampa in the mix. So, the Rangers have their work cut out for them, even though they're a good team. The Rangers could lose in round 1, or they could win this whole thing. That's the crazy part about all of this. But I'm excited for it to begin. A few days off. We will find out either tonight or, certainly at latest tomorrow night, when the Rangers series will begin. But we know that it will start in Newark at the Prudential Center. Again, the Rangers lose their regular season finale 3-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they know that they will be facing the New Jersey Devils in the first round of the playoffs.